The Clippers and the Phoenix Suns are playing Game 6 tonight in the Western Conference Finals. Now, this has been one of the most captivating Western Conference Finals from a narrative and a storyline perspective, and from a level of intrigue and unpredictability of the outcome. This game has provided everything. You have Game 1 where Kawhi Leonard, he's not going to be playing the whole series. CP3 is still in the NBA's health and safety protocol. Game 2, you have the missed free throws from Paul George, the put-down game-winning dunk for DeAndre Ayton, the broken nose sustained to Devin Booker. CP3 returns in Game 3. The Clippers win that game 2-1. Game 4 is the gruesome grudge match, the absolute fight in the boxing ring, really more like an MMA UFC fight, and the Suns somehow prevail down the stretch. Then you have Game 5. You think the Clippers are dead in the water. The Suns have all the momentum. CP3 is on the precipice of reaching his first ever NBA Finals. And the Clippers say, not so fast. The Clippers, to me, personify the movie Unbreakable. This team simply does not quit. And that is why, going into tonight, I'm taking the LA Clippers to win this game. The Clippers are like cockroaches that never seem to die. And I say that as a glowing compliment. If I had to define the Clippers as an animal, you'd have to say that they're a leopard, because unlike most animals that hide away and are fearful when they're wounded, leopards actually become more dangerous and are more aggressive when they're wounded. And that's what we're seeing from the Clippers. Their backs are against the wall. They seem to be down for the count. They get up off the mat. This team shows tremendous resilience. Reggie Jackson has been a revelation. He's going to earn himself a big bag. We heard CP3 talk about how DeAndre Ayton is getting himself a bag this postseason. Reggie Jackson is getting himself a bag this postseason, averaging 22 points per game in the Western Conference Finals. I think he's due for a huge home playoff game performance. He's been absolutely tremendous. The Suns haven't been able to keep up with him. They have not been able to keep him in check. CP3, Cameron Payne, those guys have not been able to stick with Reggie Jackson. He's been the ultimate difference maker for this team. And so his ability to blow by defenders, his ability to shoot from the perimeter, the Suns don't really have anyone who can guard him. And then this is the big thing. And I think that Ty Lue has been so overlooked throughout this whole process. Ty Lue might be the best coach in the NBA. He has elevated himself into that upper echelon, into that upper tier of coaches that you want to go to war with. He's incredible at making adjustments in the game. He inspires his team. He extracts the best and the most out of his players. He's a leader. I remember one of my favorite quotes from Ty Lue came after Game 4 of the NBA Finals between the Warriors and the Cavaliers, when the Cavaliers ultimately came back from 3-1 and LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love led them to a championship in Game 7, the first ever championship in Cleveland. Ty Lue said after that game, if you don't think we can win, don't get on the plane. And I absolutely think that quote just resonates with this group right here. If you don't think you can win, don't get on the plane. And he even brought up the fact that we're going to have to fly back to Cleveland anyway. We might as well play a game when we get there. And so Ty Lue's adjustments has been, I think, something that's been overlooked throughout this entire process. He has been absolutely fantastic. And so I ultimately think that the Phoenix Suns will win this series. I think they'll win in 7 games. But I think that coming back home, I think Paul George is going to perform again. I think they'll force a Game 7. I think they'll push the Suns to the brink, and they'll win a Game 7. And this is the other aspect, which is this is a matchup that features a Hollywood team in the LA Clippers, and it's only fitting that this ending to this movie would feature a Hollywood ending. Because Chris Paul right now, every main movie in Hollywood has one main protagonist. He's got his crime partner, and they have to overcome adversity. Chris Paul is the protagonist here, and Monty Williams has been by his side throughout the beginning. Monty Williams was his first head coach when he entered the league, when he entered the NBA, drafted by the New Orleans Hornets at the time. That was his first ever NBA coach. And I don't think that and he's had to overcome so much, getting drafted out of Wake Forest, blowing the 3-2 lead against the Houston Rockets as a member of the Clippers in 2015. That was the Corey Brewer, Josh, that game. I don't know why I'm blanking. Josh Smith and Corey Brewer game in 2015. Obviously, with the Rockets over the Warriors 3-2, he pulls his hamstring. He has had his string of bad luck, and unfortunately, CP3, his individual movie is a series of unfortunate events. He's Lemony Snicket, CP3. But I think that in a Hollywood fashion ending, it's only fitting that the NBA gods would try and elongate this process for him to an incessant degree and draw this out to the very, very brink. They're going to ratchet up the pressure to the 9th degree, to the nth degree for Chris Paul, and I think he'll find a way to pull through in Game 7. But Game 6 tonight, I have too much respect now for the Clippers. I've bet against them in almost every single round, and every single time when their backs were against the wall, they came through. I do think that this game will be extremely competitive. I think it'll be a nail biter. I think it will probably be more reminiscent of Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, but I think at the end of the day, it'll be the Clippers that prevail at home. But the Suns will win in 7 games because that's how Hollywood intended it to be.